Welcome to Destination Marriage, a podcast about successfully navigating the winding roads of marriage. Whether you're wanting to get married, newlyweds, or have been married for years, we want to share with you how we have navigated those winding roads over the past 20 years in our marriage.
Join us on this journey as we talk about real-life experiences in marriage and what we have learned along the way. We discuss love, travel, kids, friendships, and much more, all from the perspective of our lives together.
Happiness, love, grace, passion are things we all strive for in marriage, and we invite you to take this journey with us.
Welcome to Destination Marriage.
Welcome to episode 53 of Destination Marriage. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Tommy.
And we are grateful that you guys have joined us on this journey today. It is a special Thanksgiving edition. You guys are probably in the midst of smelling the turkey in your kitchen right now, like we are.
Indeed. It is actually Thanksgiving morning, and we thought we'd do an episode today a little bit different.
Yeah, we wanted to focus on the power of gratitude, but power of practicing gratitude beyond Thanksgiving. What does that look like?
Right. You know, I'm sure, as most of you guys will probably be doing, you know, there's that kind of tradition of, hey, before we eat, let's all go around the table and what are you thankful for? And sometimes it's a little awkward. The kids are, you know, family gets thrown out there probably 90% of the time. I'm happy for family and health, which are, I'm not taking anything away. That's absolutely crucial, right? But what we thought we'd do is kind of, you know, change it up a little bit and talk about what does that actually do? What's the power of showing gratitude and the power of being thankful? Mm-hmm. And what does that kind of mean? So how is our morning going, baby?
So far, it's actually been really smooth. I have to say, as Thanksgivings go, it hasn't really been hectic or crazy, but that's just because
no one's here yet.
You know, so
but that's kind of the fun.
Yeah. And I'm excited. I love it when it's full and it's crazy and it's loud and it gets really hot in the house because there's so many people, and you have to. It feels
good to have. I'm excited about having everybody over. We finally have a chill in the
air over here, so it actually feels like the holidays.
It does, yeah. We went all out this year, and normally we do our tradition was do Christmas decorations right after Thanksgiving that weekend. We're almost done. I'm pretty proud of ourselves. I started putting the tree up, and I don't know if this is going to offend anyone, but I put the tree up. My first tree that went up on Halloween. Halloween, right? Yes, was it Halloween?
It was on the 31st.
Right.
I was
screw it. We're going straight to Christmas.
I'm going straight to Christmas.
Seems like a lot of people are doing that. Our next door neighbors, they have
all their outside
lights.
They
beat us with the lights too.
They actually did beat us with the lights. But I've got all 3 trees up, all of them fully decorated. All the tree skirts are up, and Tommy actually created the most beautiful nativity scene this year. So I'm very excited about that. That's the newest addition to our holiday decor.
So, you know, today we're going to try to, you know, Thanksgivings for us, you know, they're always fun, but we're going to try to make it a little bit more fun. We've got some specialty drinks that we're going to be serving. We've got some games to kind of mix it up between the kids and the older adults and have fun with some stuff. We're really looking forward to having everybody over. Of course, football will be on, probably on mute the whole day, but it'll be on nonetheless.
My favorite part.
You got to have the Cowboys, even though I hate the Cowboys, you got to have them.
How about the Cowboys?
Oh, jeez. But, you know, so let's talk about what we want to talk about. This is going to be, you know, hopefully it's, you know, if everybody's listening, we hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, but we also want you to kind of think a little bit, and that's kind of what we're focused on today. Yeah.
I know you had a really good, powerful story that you'd shared with me. So I don't know if you want to maybe dive in with that first. Yeah. So one of the stories that sticks out to me is a sermon by Craig Groeschel, and he's at Life Church, and I listened to him quite a bit, and he tells this story, and there's a lot more to the story, but I kind of want to focus on the end of it. But the short and long of the story was he was overseas with his wife on either vacation or just at a conference or something. And he just had this something in his spirit, just said, I need to reach out to, I don't even know who the guy, you know, I don't know who the person is. Let's call him Bob. Yeah.
And he called Bob in the middle of the night back in the US. And basically Bob was like, why are you calling me right now? And he's like, I don't know. I just felt it in my heart. Mm-hmm. So it turns out Bob had a gun in his hand, was ready to end his life at that moment. Mm-hmm. And so not knowing really what to do, Craig had him basically pull out a piece of paper and start writing down what you're thankful for, what you're good at, what are you, you know, showing gratitude basically to things in his life that were positive. I think he wrote down like 30 or something.
Yeah.
Calmed his spirit. they were able to call a next door neighbor and come over and,
mm-hmm.
Take care of him. Well, the power of that in my mind, there's a lot of the power in that story, but mm-hmm. about a year later, I think it was, he came to a service and showed Craig that mm-hmm. list he had folded in his wallet. He keeps it with him at all times. Mm-hmm. So like in that case, the power of gratitude saved a life. Mm-hmm. Right. So of course that's a little on the extreme side. Right. Yeah. But, I think it's important to kind of frame up how intentionally showing gratitude and thankfulness mm-hmm. can change your mindset, your spirit, everybody else's spirit.
Right. No, that's
your
very
home,
real.
Everything. Mm-hmm. Right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that's our opinion, right? Mm-hmm. But what about some real studies or clinical data that's out there that shows what?
Yeah. So Tommy and actually both separately came across the same study, and it was actually by a study done by Berkeley, and they had listed off some of the benefits, and these are actually really solid benefits and proven benefits that regardless of what your situation is, if you're practicing gratitude.
So I think it's important, real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt, baby, but I think what stuck out to me when I first started reading this study was
what's that?
They referenced that a lot of studies that kind of talk about thankfulness or gratitude are done with well-adjusted, happy, people that maybe don't have a lot of negativity or drama or stress or pain or loss in their lives. Mm-hmm. And so that, if you're looking at it purely clinically, that's maybe a biased study, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but what they wanted to do was say, well, what about people that are in the midst of pain or in the midst of a tragedy or challenges in their lives?
I think they were actually addressing students that had or were in the midst of seeking out counseling for either anxiety or depression.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so there's clinical diagnosis there. There's probably a lot of hurt and pain in in people's lives, which guess what? That's real life. Right? We all go through that. So, what were the takeaways?
So the first one was gratitude unshackles us from toxic emotions. And I just thought, thinking about that, so powerful when we think about how we feel, whether it's anxiety, which can paralyze us, or mm-hmm. depression can paralyze us, not only mentally or emotionally, but physically. Think mm-hmm. about when you're feeling either anxious or depressed, you don't really feel like you're maybe accomplishing what you're really wanting to accomplish. You're not living life to the fullest.
And then that spirals emotionally, right? Then it builds, it's negatively builds on top of those thoughts build and build mm-hmm. and build. And then you're in a really bad place. Mm-hmm. We both agreed when we saw that word unshackles.
I thought that was such a powerful word, right? Because I do envision chains around your mind. And I, even if I've ever felt anxious, which trust me, I have, it can make me feel like I'm not able to be as productive. It almost puts me in a holding pattern. And so when you think about those chains, it can, just the unshackling of that frees you of, those emotions, whether mm-hmm. it's a real thing, existing situation you're going through, or maybe lies that have just piled on one on top of another that you start to believe. I just thought it was really powerful.
Yeah. And certainly the's a lot to that, right? I mean, mm-hmm. we're not trying to pretend all you got to do is say, well, I'm grateful. And I'm grateful.
Gratitude. I'm grateful for.
I actually asked you that. I put that in her head. I was like, wait a minute. Is graciousness and gratitude, are those like different variations of the same word? And you're like, no, babe.
No, grace is different. But
no, sorry, I put that in your head.
I know that's why I said that word. But saying that I'm grateful
it's not as simple, right? But like that intentionality of mm-hmm. saying you're grateful for and showing what you're grateful for can change your mind. I love that mm-hmm. word unshackles. Number 2 was it helps even if you don't share it, mm-hmm. right? So I do believe there's power in sort of verbalizing things like gratitude or thankfulness because it can help you and others. But, the studies did show like mm-hmm. even if it's just internally showing gratitude.
But words are powerful. So, right. There's power in the tongue. The things that you speak out to either when you're talking to yourself or other people in your home, I think that's huge. But even if you don't share it and you're writing them down, I know you're not the type to write. You told me like I'm not really a pen to paper person.
Yeah, I'm not a journaling type person. Yeah,
I'm
it just doesn't
huge
work
on
for me.
that. I love, and it can just be writing down a list, and it doesn't even have to be a full journal entry, but just writing down a thought in the morning, like what I'm grateful for right now, because I think that it's It definitely puts you in the right frame of mind.
Versus most journaling is probably getting some of those negative thoughts out, right? Like what's bothering you, which is also good and powerful. We're not
you still need to get it out.
But, right.
But do we want to constantly focus on that, or can we start our day or, be intentional about writing down the things that we are grateful for instead of focusing solely on the negative? I mean, there's still something in there, even in the midst of either that depression or that anxiety, that person, whomever it is, me, I know that there's certain things that I can be grateful for in those days that I feel like, today.
And I've found with me, I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
Like, right. Let's just kind of get through these last couple before we sort of talk about what we can do, what we do, and what we can do better around practicing gratitude. The third one was,
gratitude benefits take time.
Indeed. Which goes back to our number one, right? Like, we're not saying it's as simple as, but it's that intentional over time showing gratitude and how it changes your mind.
Yeah.
Changes the neural pathways that your brain normally takes when something negative happens.
Right.
And then number 4, it also shows long lasting effects. Once you
on the brain.
On the brain. Yeah. It's that intentional showing of gratitude. It's long lasting too, which is hopeful. And hopefully for those of us that, that can easily go down negative paths in our own brains, in our own heads.
Yeah.
The idea that if you're intentional about it, it can actually change your mind. It can change your brain. Mm-hmm. There was another study on positivepsychology.com that found that grateful, and this is just kind of a generic stat, but found that grateful people are much more likely to report physical and mental vigor.
I believe that.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not just fake happiness, but it's that sincerity. I don't know about that study, but I'm saying for me, it's not that fake, like, oh, I'm thankful for my family. And how are things going? Oh, it's good. That's all kind of superficial, right?
Right.
That's not gratitude necessarily, but that intentional long-term showing of gratitude literally makes you a better person and a happier, healthier person.
Right.
Right. So what, for me, I'd love to say I'm disciplined and get up every morning and write down or say out loud 3 things that I'm thankful for. Right. But I'd be lying
you
if
don't
I
really
didn't.
write things down anyways. That's not your
or even,
go-to.
Yeah. Right. Or like express certain things each morning. I think that's probably a habit I absolutely should do.
Yeah.
Right. Start off your day in a better headspace than just like what's the most anxious thing in your mind, and that's what kicks off your day, right?
Yeah. As soon as your feet hit the floor, where does your mind go?
It's before even my feet hit the floor. It's when I wake up. What wakes me up is an anxious
as you're
thought.
pulling the blanket off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No kidding. What about you, babe? What kind of things do you recommend for showing gratitude?
Well, I'm huge on writing things down, and I was really big into journaling. That was huge for me, especially even writing things that I'm hopeful for. So it may not even be something that I can say, hey, I'm really grateful for this right now. It may not even be in existence in my life at this moment. But if I can't even think of something, I can think of something that I can look forward to, right? So being grateful, I can look forward to whatever it is, It may not be something that's happening right now. I would like to get back to that. I think that it was something that was really powerful for me. And I'm definitely the type of person who likes to put pen to paper. I'm sorry, your question was, how do I practice gratitude?
Just what kind of tips, what things would you recommend based on what you do that you've found to be helpful?
I think it's really important, and this is huge for me, and I know this is not a big thing for everyone else. I like to express gratitude to other people. I think it's huge, and it's important to say thank you to others for the things that they've done for you, and it can be completely random. Just like when you said that story about the pastor, and he was checking in on him. But just to say thank you to someone, because you don't know, someone may be feeling like they've been raked across the coals, and no one has said thank you because maybe their mom juggling 100 million things, been there, done that, and no one has said thank you. Or, it could just be a friend. No, I'm not saying
thank you all the time.
I'm saying there are moms out there that are doing all the things. And
look at that, throwing me under the bus. I'm thankful that my wife has no problem throwing me under the bus.
I'm saying that there may be a day where they really need to hear that thank you. I think it's important. It also makes it there's a positive
result in feeling in your own heart
right.
by knowing, hey, I'm hopefully blessing someone else and letting them know that they're appreciated. I think that's really huge. And I do actually, that's something that I do practice. I do reach out, and that's something I've been very intentional about this year. I'm not saying I did it my entire life, but I think it's important.
I can definitely get better at that. Sometimes like my gut will say something, my gut will tell me, just say something simple and thanks, you're doing a great job or whatever it is. It's mostly like coworkers, people that you don't like kind of interact with all the time.
Yeah.
At least on that level. Right. And I need to get better with that, and with family, with the boys, with everybody in my life. Right. For me, one of the big things that I've been, really trying to be intentional about is being thankful and gracious, or not gracious. There it goes back to that word. It's a great word,
You're
but
just
it's
on
not.
The G word.
I'm on the G word. So, and showing gratitude and thankfulness in the midst of something, I don't want to say a tragedy, but like stress or environment struggle, a trying time, a situation that's occurring at work with family, with our son, with friends, with whatever it is. Being intentional about not skirting over it, but being intentional about saying thank you and saying, I'm going to learn something from this. What can I learn from this? I know there's going to be something on the backside of this, at the end of this, I'm going to be thankful for, because I'm going to learn something from it, and look for what I can learn from it while I'm going through it. And that's hard, I think, but you know what I found?
That's tough.
It's tough, but it does make it, if you kind of approach it as, well, here's a challenge. How am I going to overcome it? What am I going to do? What am I going to learn from it? I'm thankful that I'm going through this, because that's really easy for me to say, because I'm not going through things that are tragic loss or things that I can't explain to the point that I'm despondent, right? I mean, so I recognize that.
No one walks through life without some type of storm at some point. But even if it's just a minor speed bump, you could be just emotionally spent.
Yeah.
With even the smallest little thing could send you over the edge. And I think it's important, to start practicing that any way you possibly can find. I think one thing I have recognized about myself is, in my way of practicing gratitude, is really being grateful for every day, like in terms of time. I really, and that's huge for me, maximizing my time. So I always want to make the most of every day,
thankful
every
for
minute.
The time you have.
I want to make sure when we're on vacation, we make the most of that time. I think it's really important to make the most of those moments. And I don't want the negativity to take from that time, because you don't get that back, I'm not saying I haven't had days where it has, but I really want to make sure that I don't allow it to, because then if I'm practicing gratitude, it's kind of my way, or if I'm making the most of that time, I'm almost regaining control. You know?
And I think that's something that I've learned from you, that we actually talked about this when we went on our vacation. It doesn't always have to be vacation, but I noticed on vacations in the past, it was always like there was so much anticipation. And then you, after the fact, would kind of think through how much fun things were. Or this was great, this was relaxing, whatever. Where now, not just on vacations, but any scenario, any time, that time, how thankful I am for the time, is being thankful in the moment while that time is passing. So if it's on vacation, thinking about, wow, this is great. This is a great memory. I'm thankful for, showing that gratitude towards the moment, the opportunities, the blessings you have. I've tried to do that on vacations. I don't know why vacations just kind of are poignant to me in that case.
Because it's probably it's the easiest time where you're actually physically stepping away from
normal life.
Yeah, from normal life.
But does that make sense? Like in the past, it was always like after the vacation, you're like, oh, that was a lot of fun, but not during the vacation. It feels like it's still stressful. You're trying to I don't know if the anticipation, if you built it up in your head, I don't know. Right. Yeah. But that was just something
that's a real thing.
Right. Yeah. So, I really do think, and I know for myself, whether it's in the good times or the bad, showing thankfulness and being, showing gratitude really emotionally lifts me up. And when I do it, it emotionally helps the family, because I can control with anger if I wanted to, the household.
that's certainly a negative, but I think if I can show better gratitude and more thankfulness, I think it'll just lift the spirits of the home. And we all have that power in our own homes and with our own selves, with our friends, our families. So
yeah, and in any relationship you have, especially starts at home first. Agreed. But I think that if you're doing that, whether you're writing it down or you're verbalizing it and you're saying out loud.
So actually,
I know someone, obviously would never share a name, but I know somebody used to start their morning and they would write down positive, things that they are grateful for, put them on Post-it notes.
That's awesome.
And put them on their bathroom mirror.
Yeah.
Right. And I've done Post-its around my desk before. I think, and it can be powerful things that you just leave there just to remind yourself. So I do want to say one thing I'm grateful for. Okay.
Yes, baby. I know you're grateful for me. It's okay. You don't have to keep telling me that.
I am very grateful for you, grateful for my boys, and grateful for my home. But I am really grateful for our listeners because we recently hit 5,000 downloads this week. And that was just something that I feel like it was very timely for Thanksgiving. And I want to say
we are thankful.
Thank you guys. Appreciate that.
All right. We have to go.
Yeah.
I've got a turkey that needs to be basted. So I'm gonna peace out here, but I hope that all of you have a wonderful day with your family and friends, and we will be back shortly.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if so, please continue to listen and subscribe on Podbean, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. We would greatly appreciate positive reviews, and we will answer any questions at feedback@destinationmarriagepodcast.com. For up-to-date content and news about the podcast, you can follow us on Instagram at destination_marriage and visit our website at destinationmarriagepodcast.com. Be sure to tune in next week.